Everybody, Beth here, and today I wanted to do a video kind of giving my version of Bendy and the Ink Machine and Showdown Bandit. Now, I'm not saying I'm a better author or writer than the creators of the games. I'm not saying that I'm superior in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, if in, let's say, an alternate universe, TheMeatly came down, kicked down my door with his puppet legs, and was like, you, write the story of Bendy and the Ink Machine and Showdown Bandit, do it. This is what I'd give them. So, yeah, this is just for fun, just kind of taking the concepts and seeing what happens. So yeah, if you have your own ideas of how either game should have gone or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. So, Bendy and the Ink Machine, we're starting off with that one. Setting is about 1959, mid-late December, 30 years after Henry leaves in 1929. Pretty standard. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are relatively the same. There's a couple of more audio logs, a little more fleshing out and stuff like that, and whatnot. Only big difference between those two chapters is that the flashback at the end of them kind of is more of the conversation that Henry and Joey have before Henry leaves. And it's kind of, you don't get the full story, but you kind of get a little grasp of it, and then you get a little bit more of the grasp at the end of the second one and whatnot. And the other big one is that Sammy's death is a little bit more vague on who kills him. Instead of being like, my lord, don't kill me. I know I said specifically for you to kill something. And then I started getting really loud and really mean, but Senpai, no, I didn't mean me. I meant the guy I tied up. It's more of a, please don't kill me, I just, proper dramatic Sammy fashion. You don't get to know who died or who killed him. Could have been Bendy, could have been somebody else. We don't know. I mean, you'll be able to kind of piece together once you get later down the story, but what else? Okay, so chapter 3 is the big where we're diverging, doing shenanigans and whatnot. So you meet Boris, you get a little bit more of the flashback, you wake up in the safe house, you make Boris his food, and there's a little bit more in the safe house that kind of hints to who Boris is. A little bit more obvious who he is. Spoiler alert, you'll find out for sure come chapter 4, and especially when you try to get out of there. But so you feed Boris, you get out of the safe house, and you start making your way anywhere. You're kind of, you make your way towards the toy area. This one, it's a little bit different, but regardless, you end up getting separated from Boris. A couple of monsters show up, like have Projectionist or Butcher Gang, whoever, whichever, however many creatures or whatever. You two get separated. Boris, you don't know what happens to him. You don't know if he's safe. You don't know if he's okay or if he's dead. And you yourself have ended up in the Angel's Lair. You still get the whole, I'm the sweetest little la 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 la, I'm Mary's Angel. Because let's be fair, we let an over dramatic angel do what she wants. And you meet her in full. She gives her a little spiel, and she essentially is like, okay, I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. I'll help you find Boris, and I'll help you escape. But I need you to pick up a few items for me that I can't get to safely, and whatnot. So these things are less kind of to help her be beautiful and more in line of stuff you collected in the first chapter, spiritual stuff. You get some more audio diaries and audio tapes and stuff. In particular, some with Susie being more inclined to use and get her way any which way she can. Namely, she wants to be a star, and Joey Drew Studios is supposed to be helping with that, and whatnot. Joey's struggling to follow the Hays Code, film code, and you know, ta-da! I made a dancing demon. Joey, you can't make fun of religion, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even do anything mean. It's a demon, Joey. Well, can I do an angel? No. And introductions to the Gang Company and Thomas Connor and all that jazz. Um, Basically, the gist is that Joey's getting desperate, Susie's getting a little irritated and a little nutty, and there is some family that runs a company, runs the Gank Company, that seems to know a little bit about the supernatural, and yeah. So you finish up you're running around grabbing the stuff that she needs, and on the last errand, Bendy shows up again, and he chases you the opposite way of the the lair. So basically, you're making your way to drop off the last thing, being like, "I got my buddy Boris. We're gonna find him, and then we're gonna leave." Like that. Bendy shows up. We're like, "Ah!" You run. Angel is screaming because one, how did the demon get out of the ink machine? Two, how did he get so close without, how did he get so close to my lair without me knowing? And two, what the hell are you doing with my errand boy? That kind of fun stuff. So you run and you end up stumbling into a Lost One's village. Um, Kind of similar to Lost One Village that you see in Chapter 5, but it's a little more populated. All the Lost Ones are kind of staring at you like, what the heck? Ooh, who is this guy? And you see Boris, and then you see another Boris, but this one with the robot arm, kung fu grip, and everything. And then you see a lady with horns, a headband, and a sword. Oh, understandably, Henry's a little confused, a little perplexed, and it's kind of being a little bit overwhelming, especially as he turns around. Here's the demon, and he passes out, and he gets out, and we get the full cutscene for his flashback. For the flashback, that is Joey and Henry's last conversation. So, what happens? Henry brings his baby girl, his newborn baby, to the studio, and she's kind of, she's in the background, kind of going and doing stuff as Henry and Joey are talking. Joey's like, "Oh, it's a baby! I love babies!" Being what I imagine a very big dork. And obviously Henry bought the baby in order to try and ease the conversation and stuff. And basically it's like, "Joey, I can't stay. I can't work at the studio as much at all because I got to raise my family. And like, I know you're, this sucks for you. This sucks for me. You could even be my goddaughter. You could be my daughter's godfather. But I can't stay." And Joey's actually pretty reasonable about this. He's in similar vein fashion of the speech he gives with at the end of the real life chapter 5, where it's like, "You chose your family, I chose the crooked empire, blah 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 blah." Yeah. He's like, "No, Henry, obviously, your family is your path. I will run the empire, and then, you know, obviously you'll come back because that's just how we roll." And, this conversation and whatnot. Much more, I'm aiming for a much more positive thing, kind of to give the reason why Henry would come back after getting a letter from his friend after 30 plus years, but semantics. So then you hear the little baby crying, and Joy's like, "Oh no, the baby's crying! I can fix this. I can make people smile." And so obviously he grabs a bendy one, but I got Boris with me, so Boris, and starts squeaking. That's how the chapter ends. Is Joey trying to make the little girl laugh with the toy. Then we get into chapter 4, and in parallels, we've got the ink demon shoving the toy in your face, trying very carefully to squeak it without breaking him. And it's revealed that ink demon is Joey. We'll explain why in a moment. So, yeah. So, call the quote of crazy comes on. So it's revealed that Joey, having been introduced to the gang company and the supernatural shenanigans and stuff, figures I'll bring Bendy to life to kind of skirt around the code because, Wally had joked, well, you could just, too bad he ain't real because then you could show that he's a cat. No, he's a cat. Obviously, he's a cat. He's not a demon. Have you ever seen a demon look like this? This is a cat. Or something along those lines. Basically, trying to skirt the code. Susie learns about this, and she also learns about Henry and a couple of conversations between her and Joey. And Susie, getting a little irritated, her rise to stardom is not going as fast as she was inclined to believe, decides to do the ritual herself so she and Alice can do awesome things. And it's also revealed, Joey didn't send a letter. Joey's been trapped as the ink demon in the machine because Susie botched the ritual. She screwed it up. She just did. She done goofed, and therefore everybody is trapped in the studio and has been for the past 30 or several years. I won't specifically say 30, but it's been a little bit since that. So yeah. And Susie has figured, Malice, Alice, whoever you want to call her, sent a letter to Henry to trick him to come in so she could use him as the sacrificial lamb for a new ritual to try and fix it. Obviously Henry doesn't know about the, everybody's been missing because he's been a little preoccupied and whatnot. So, kind of thing. Checking my notes. So essentially, this is a realization. Okay, we gotta redo the ritual because if we can either undo the ritual that Susie did or replace it with a new one, because that might work. Shrug emoji, shrug emoji. So the goal is to collect new items for the ritual and avoid Alice because she has decided to throw off the whole I'm a little angel sitting on the shelf and is more like I'm going to kill you, Henry. I don't freaking care. This is not how my plan was supposed to go. So you're going to fucking die. And chapter 5 is kind of a continuation of that. You've got to make it to Joey's office where the original ritual took place. And with dealing with that, you gotta, sneak past the creatures that Alice has created to act as kind of her guard dogs, guard spiders, guard creatures, and kind of get her distracted so you can set up the ritual and properly start doing it. And eventually she does get stabbed by Allison and whatnot. You get your buddies to help and get them. They help and stuff. Joey, will make a sacrifice to help Alice, or to help Allison kill Alice so Alice doesn't kill you. Wow, there are way too many similar sounding names. So, you complete the ritual. Yay! You gotta escape the studio now because it is collapsing in on itself because the only thing holding this place together was dark, evil, crazy lady magic. and since the crazy lady is no more, it's fallen apart. So you manage to escape the studio as the ritual, does its thing. It literally collapses in on itself. But on a plus side, everybody's souls are freed, so, no longer stuck in an inky abyss. Yay! There's a little bit of a bittersweet kind of note that it ends on because Henry's like, the studio's part of me, and I just saw it go, but everybody's okay now. Huh. And just kind of that setting of, I did the right thing, but man, I would have at least liked maybe like 10 minutes so I could catch up with Joey or something. When you spend so much love and energy in a place and then it's destroyed right in front of you, you're kind of like, you're emotionally confuddled and ugh. But that is how it ends. There is a final cutscene though. Basically, Henry's in a conversation in a phone booth with his daughter. His daughter's like, so how was it? How's Joey and everybody and stuff? I haven't, it alluding to the fact that like, how's it going? And everything's great. We're fine and stuff. You went, you won't. It's been a little bit. I want to make sure you're okay. And Henry's kind of vague about exactly what happened because really you can't explain that without sounding more than a little crazy. There's also some hinting to other universe stuff. Excuse me. Universe stuff on hinting like that. Kind of an explanation on, minor hinting for stuff that takes place in the same universe and sequel stuff. So as he finishes up this conversation, you start to hear a little bit of the whistling. He hangs up. There's a knock at the phone booth. You turn around. Henry goes, "What?" And it's one of the tunes, or both, or Bendy and Boris. I don't know. I didn't really give that much. I don't know. It's one or both. It's Bendy and Boris, or it's just Bendy, or it's just Boris. Either way, end result is, Henry, you did in fact do the ritual correctly. Congratulations, you have 2 tunes. Good luck explaining that one. Good luck explaining that one to your daughter when you come visit her. Or, so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it would end for Bendy and the Ink Machine. Admittedly, as I've been saying it out loud, it doesn't make any bit of sense. But if you managed to make any bit of sense of it, thank you. Hey. So let's move on to Showdown Bandit. The setting is same universe, mid to late December 1959. Gameplay would be pretty focused heavily on the idea of breaking the rules and playing your part. So there'd be more third-person point of view spots, so you could actually make Bandit look up. It's a risk reward thing. If you look up long enough, it'll trigger a cutscene, and it'll trigger lore information. But you are stuck there until it's over. So if you want to try and trigger the cutscene, you want to make sure that you're not hearing the bell of the Faceless Bandit, because the Faceless Bandit is a little rude, and he's not going to wait till the cutscene's done for you to try and shoot his face off. The area where his face was off. So it's a little bit of a difficulty thing. Like, you can get more information, you can, learn the lore and stuff, but you're stuck there until it's over. And playing your part more inclines to, who will be there at the end, for lack of a better word. You're more, if you do more bandit-y things or whatever, there'd be choices that would affect technically how the ending a little bit ends. But for the most part, let's just roll with that. Over the lore bits that you would get if you actually looked up, and there would still be other spots, like you'd be able to pick up letters and stuff to kind of give similar information, but instead of risking your life and limb, is that Buddy and Carl run the Showdown Bandit show. Um, and the idea of it is that the bandit is technically a main character, but he's bad at being bad. He's he's a very crappy bandit and inadvertently helps the sheriff and the townsfolk more than he harms them. Um, the sheriff would be played by a human character, kind of in line of the original Howdy Doody, Howdy Doody, the puppet show from the 1950s and stuff, and the Alice comedies from the early 1920s and stuff, where basically it's a human girl playing with a bunch of cartoon characters and stuff. So the sheriff would be a human child actor playing with it, and so on and so forth. That's kind of how that. You'd also get to learn that went too fast. Try that again. You'd also learn that Buddy and Carl ended up partnering with a man named Basker Hill, who would play the role of King Boo Boo, and they would work together to expand the cast. You'd also, as you got further along in the story, you'd start to see that there was a lot of clashing personality and butting heads. Um, and as you enter the last area, you'd be forced into it would switch immediately into a flashback thing that you'd be able to play through, where basically you're playing your part and you're hearing fighting going on, an altercation, and then all of a sudden you'll look up, boom goes either Carl or Buddy's hand, depending on your choices. They get seriously injured during this filming, which is why the show gets canceled because, don't really want to emotionally traumatize small children with that kind of experience. And, not cool, bro. So, Buddy or Carl gets seriously injured, and as that hand falls and it's about to crush you, you're snapped back to reality as the lights turn on, and there's the other member who created the short, Buddy or Carl, who's kind of like, why is this theater on? Why are you guys moving? What? What is the absolute fuck going on? No, probably not in those exact words, but that's it. So the gameplay would technically change a little bit as you'd continue on with the story, as you and your human compadre would be trying to figure out why the theater's up and running, who did the stuff to get you guys back up and moving again, and where do we move forward from this? Gameplay wise, you would be able to get help from your human friend, either Buddy or Carl, depending on choices made and whatnot, and there would be benefits to having them come help, like they'd be able to alter a scene or something, or they'll be able to add something for you to pick up. Obviously, if you got to be careful with that because that's not playing your part, and that will alert somebody, that will alert who's ever in charge and doing stuff like this, and you really don't want to add another body to the body count. So the issue that I have with Bendy or with Showdown Bandit is that we don't really know what the full concept was, so we don't know what the intent was. And already starting off, it does give me vibes of Bendy and the Ink Machine already, except it's Bendy and the Ink Machine, but puppets. So it's a little bit more difficult to do a story relating with that because it's like, okay, how do we make this not Bendy and the Ink Machine, but also how do we not make this basically every other horror thing involving puppets? So it's like, okay, let's not kill any children, let's not kill anybody and have their souls be possessing said things. It's complicated. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the idea for Showdown, basically focusing more on the motif of don't look up, play your part, kind of exploring, why would the show be canceled during filming or whatever. So yeah. Uh and that's pretty much it for what I've got. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, have a wonderful rest of the day. Make sure you leave your own thoughts and feelings about Bendy and the Ink Machine, Showdown Bandit, or whatever kind of suggestions you have for future things. If you like me doing my own take on video games or the stories or whatever. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.